Good morning, all. This is Mohan Chandra Doloi, Assistant Professor in Anthropology, Holdia Government College, West Bengal. Now I am going to discuss about a particular tribal category, that is the particularly vulnerable tribal group. Within the tribal phenomena, within the tribal segment, there are a particularly or separate category that is not the constitutional category. That is not the constitutional category, but the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, they categorized, or the Government of India categorized such a particular tribal groups within the all tribes, all the tribal groups on the basis of their developmental perspective. According to the 2011 census, in India there are about 8.6% tribal population, and 8.6% tribal population considering or comprising by altogether 705 tribal groups, and among them only 75 tribal groups are categorized as the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Who are particularly vulnerable tribal groups? Particularly vulnerable tribal groups who are earlier known as primitive tribal groups. But in the year 2007, Ministry of Tribal Affairs banned this particular term, that is the primitive, because primitive is the derogatory term. Primitive is the ethnocentric term. So they banned this particular term and replaced by the particularly vulnerable tribal group. And who are particularly vulnerable tribal group? The particularly vulnerable tribal group is a Government of India's classification created with the purpose of enabling improvement in the condition of certain communities, that is the 75 communities, particularly low development indices. So students, you know, in your core paper CC5T as well as DSC3, there are particular subject, that is the tribal studies. So you can know about the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, which is mentioned, mentioned in your course curricula. So PVTGs are the more vulnerable among the tribal groups, among the 705 tribal groups. Due to this factor, more developed and assertive tribal groups take a major chunk of the tribal development funds, because of which PVTGs need more funds directed for their development, because they are development on the basis of development, their developmental situation is more vulnerable among the other tribal groups. In the year 1973, Government of India formulated or constituted Dhibar Commission, and they gave the Dhibar Commission to take a study for the situation analysis of Indian tribal groups, and on the basis of Dhibar Commission recommendation, they especially separately categorize a particular group, that is the PVTG, and on the basis of Dhibar Commission recommendation, Government of India categorized such groups, such 75 groups, as the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And during the 1975, or on the basis of recommendation of the Dhibar Commission, At that time, altogether 52 groups are included within the PVTG, and another 20 groups is recommended again by the various states and union territory, and another 20 as the PVTG. Again, two additional groups in the year 6 5-year plan, and again in the 7 5-year plan, one particularly vulnerable groups is included in this particular category. So that up to date, there are in India there are 75 tribal groups, 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So what are the criteria? What are the criteria on the basis of what criteria the Government of India or the Ministry of Ministry of Tribal Affairs, they included such tribal groups as the PVTG. First one is the stagnant or declining population. In India there are some tribal groups. Those are the stagnant population, because the population growth is minimized or the stopped for the various reasons, or they are the declining population. For example, the sentinel is the declining population, or the tribes in the Andaman and Nicobar Island, they are the stagnant population. They are the growth rate, the population growth rate is minimized. And other one is the subsistence level of economy. Their subsistence level of economy is based on hunting and gathering. So most of the PVTGs are the hunter-gatherer. And the pre-agricultural level of technology, they use simple technologies such as the digging stick, hoe, or the other implement for their economic and other purposes. And among them there is the extremely low level of literacy, and we can find the few tribal groups, their literacy rate is the minimum 10 to 20%, and on an average in India the literacy rate among the PVTGs is 30 to 40%. So then we discuss about the characteristics of PVTGs, and first one is the small population, and the numerical strength or numerical proportionately the tribal PVTGs are small. Some of them are 12 or 50 to the Sentinelese is the 20 to about the 20, and the Andamanis is the near about the 100, and lots of examples are there. Their population size is very small, and the stagnant or declining population, such as PVTGs groups are stagnant in nature, or their population is declining day by day, and for that there is the number of reasons. And another one is the isolation, that is the physical isolation. The PVTGs groups are isolated from the other tribal groups or the non-tribal groups. Basically, they are residing in a islands or the distinctive isolated area. Another one is the very high socio-economic inequality among the PVTGs. Among them the socio-economic condition is very unequal among them, and they use the simple technology. They use the simple technology which I have discussed earlier, and the awful health condition among the PVTGs. The second characteristic is that they are the stagnant or declining population, and for their stagnant or declining nature, health is the major issue. Health concern is the major issue, and their health is very much deteriorate, and their health condition is very awful in condition. They among them various contagious disease or the prolonged disease among the sickle cell anemia, malaria, such type of disease are more prevalent among them. Among their sanitary condition is very poor. And absence of written language, they have no written language. So their communication, their language, only the vocabulary, only the verbal communication. They practice only on the basis of the verbal communication, and they have no other written form of language. And their innovation rate is very slow. The slower rate of change among the culture, among their society, PVTG society, among their practice, among their economy, their rate of change or innovation is very slow. They are not very accustomed to accept the impact of modernization or the globalization or modern communication system. They are far behind from that, and they particularly possesses a distinctive culture, and each particularly vulnerable tribal group have a particular distinctive culture, and this culture is not equal to other particularly vulnerable tribal groups or other groups rather than PVTGs. So this is the picture which I have taken. This group is the Lodha tribe, and they are residing in the Indian part of Sundarban. And I once upon a time I have done a field work among the Lodhas. Lodha is the one of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups of West Bengal. Not only in West Bengal, they also residing in Odisha and Bihar and Chhattisgarh. Sorry, Jharkhand. So this particular picture, I hope this may tell many more things. And the picture is shows about their health condition, about their economy, about their surroundings, about their environment, and everything about their literacy. I think this picture must say about many aspects of the life of particularly vulnerable tribal group. And this is the Indian map where I briefly going to discuss about their distribution. In India, there are altogether 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and among them they are distributed in 18 states and one union territory, that is the Andaman Nicobar Island. And among them, most of them are residing in the state of Odisha. And in case of Odisha, total 13 PVTGs groups are residing, and followed by Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh is 7, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Gujarat, and in case of West Bengal, there are 3 particularly vulnerable tribal groups. They are the Lodha, Toto, and Birhor. And in case of West Bengal, Lodhas are mainly concentrated in the district of Jharkhand and Paschim Midnapur, and Toto in the district of Alipurduar or Jalpaiguri, and the Birhor is the jungle tribe. Birhor is called as the jungle tribe. They are mainly concentrated in the district of Purulia. And others are Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand. And in case of Andaman Nicobar Island, and Andaman Nicobar Island, there are altogether 5 tribal groups, and all the 5 tribal groups are categorized as the fall in the particularly vulnerable tribal group. And in case of Andaman Nicobar Island, their condition is very poor and very neglected in the Andaman Nicobar Island. So on the basis of their present situation and on the basis of their developmental condition, they residing in a very vulnerable condition, and on the basis of that, Government of India or the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, that is the MOTA, they take a particular planning for the overall development of particularly vulnerable tribal group, and this is known as CCD plan, that is the conservation cum development. And this is taken by the Government of India during the 7th 5-year plan to SCA to TSP tribal sub plan Article 275(1), and on the basis of that the CCD plan is prepared by the respective state government and the union territory administration for the period of for the next 5 years, and the state government or union territory took the full responsibility for the proper implementation in the state level through the appointment various type of agencies like NGOs, tribal research institute, and national level various bodies to by which the this particularly plan, this is the CCD plan or conservation cum development plan, is smoothly running. What is the conservation cum development plan? The development is the prior goal. The development is the concern, major concern area. But during the development, there the heritage, the cultural heritage, the economic heritage, their heritage of their life must be taken very seriously to protect their heritage, so that this particular plan is known as conservation cum development. Conservation, what is conservation? Conservation means to conserve their cultural diversity, to conserve their cultural ethnicity or the cultural reality. So the main objective of the CCD plan is that the overall socio-economic development are intervening their all aspects of their social economic life, and on the basis of such CCD plan, Government of India and the various state government as well as various union territory, they taken some initiative under the CCD plan. What are the plan? Plan is the first one is the livelihood development. The second is to create the income opportunity through the agricultural sector, horticultural sector, animal husbandry, or skill or vocational training, by which the tribal people can get more economic option or the alternative sources. And their education, they among them the literacy rate is very poor, or the even the illiterate. So to improve their educational status, literacy rate and dropout rate is to minimize, and their constitute a various residential school for their schooling, and to reduce the dropout rate. And for that it must say that Ministry of Tribal Affairs establish a particular form of residential school, that is the EMRS, a club model residential school. And in case of West Bengal, there are 7 EMRS, and within this particular type of residential schools, the tribal children basically and even the PVTGs children can took their admission, and already they have taken their studying there. And then the child marriage and the multiple live births and their low birth weight baby, these are the major factors among them, among their health condition, and among them there are the multiple health related ailments are found among them. And the provision of safe drinking water for their better sanitary situation and their for better health, so it must be taken in prior concern. And the land distribution and the land development system may be introduced in the among the PVTGs group, and the patta distribution must be taken for the PVTGs, so that they can live a better way. And their social security system. So government, in case of, for example, Government of West Bengal Tribal Development Department, they take a sub initiative to keep the old age pension at the rate of rupees 1,000 per the tribal elderly, and specifically the PVTGs elderly. So this is the social one type of social security. Housing and habitat. This is the one one of the other concern. And the connectivity, that is the road connectivity within the PVTG dominated villages or the PVTG dominated area, and the telecommunication system may be developed for the smooth contact and communication with the other markets and administration. And the supply of electricity within the PVTGs dominated villages and the area is also the requirement. And irrigation development, this is also the taken by the city plan. The sports, basically the tribal sport or their traditional sports, this may it would be encouraged to promote their traditional games and sports. So this is the steps taken by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and with the various state government agencies and the union territory agencies. But at present, all the projects are running by the monitoring of various state and union territory. But there is some backdrops of the development projects for particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So what the steps are taken for their betterment, but we are not enough to achieve such goal. So the national policy for particularly vulnerable tribal groups, they emphasize the following steps to tackle the problems of PVTGs. First one is the efforts shall be made to bring them on par with the other scheduled tribes in a definite time frame, and this must achieved within a particular time frame. And development efforts should be tribe specific and suit the local environment in their own specific. The project or the measurement will take on the basis of their own need. So this is also the required. And the effective preventive and curative health system shall be introduced to combat the low level of literacy among PVTGs area, and need specific educational coupled with the skill upgradation shall be given priority for their income opportunity. And the teaching shall be in tribal mother tongue or the tribal dialect. In there, if the classroom communication is organized in their mother tongue, and that will be more effective than the other form of teaching environment. And the emphasis shall be laid on the vocational education and training. And the PVTGs shall enjoy the right to land. Any form of land alienation shall be prevented, and landless PVTGs given priority in land assignment. So land alienation is the major concern in tribe. So this is the priority zone which have to take some concern. Public distribution system, that is the PDS, shall be introduced to ensure the regular food supply, and this should be established within the periphery or within the PVTG dominated village or area. Grain banks shall be established to ensure the food availability during any crisis or natural calamities. PVTG's participation in managing forest shall be ensured to meet their economic needs and nourish their emotional attachment to forest. So so this is there is the eco club. So in the eco club, the PVTG's groups participation is very essential for the nurture of their forest or nurture or to fulfill their basic needs. So this is the topic which I have discussed already. And if there is any question or query or the remarks, so please you can tell. So thank you.